Playing it into the computer. Let's see what happens. Here. And we're live. Oh my gosh. We're live. So, hey everybody. It's Sharon Glassman here with unbelievable, beautiful guitar playing musician Lynn Patrick on the Tiny Bathroom Concert. And I thought today we would start with this beautiful baby glockenspiel because we have a really beautiful guitar player here and I don't want to be in that space because you own that space. That space is beautiful.
Just go right ahead.
Okay, so if we start, let me see. We'll go. It's the show about positively creative people brought to you by an introvert. It's the Tiny Bathroom Concert. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Nice to be here.
I'm so excited, and this is actually the first time we're meeting, so I really appreciate you taking the risk of meeting a stranger in her bathroom.
Yeah, just drove up and went right to the bathroom.
There you go. Oh, by the way, if you need a bathroom at any point, there's one around the corner that you can actually, that is functional. That is not just
good.
But thank you for joining us, us, everyone out there. Let's start. Well, I'll start by explaining how I found out about you and what inspired me to ask you to be here. So I threw up my back, which was not a fun thing, but I was getting body work by someone that we both know, Jeanette Elder, and she mentioned that not only are you an incredibly accomplished instrumental musician and songwriter, but that you actually write music for soap operas.
The Young and The Restless. I wrote music for them for a year.
Wow.
From the summer of 2016 to 2017.
Well, we're going to get to that, and I thought we'd start by going back to the beginning and coming up to that point. But I had to ask, is the Young and the Restless the one that has the ba 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 ba, that like little theme song that was really famous in the 70s, the 80s? It was like a #1 hit.
Gosh, I don't know.
Okay, never mind. We won't talk about that then.
I never really watched it. So someone asked me to write some music for it, the music supervisor.
That's fine.
Then I started watching it so I can understand the scenes.
And what's going on. Well, let's start at the very beginning, which is a very good place to start. Were you a musician as a child? When did you first find the guitar and your musical gifts and your passion for it?
Well, I took piano lessons when I was 8 years old, and I did that for just a couple of years. I didn't really feel a connection with the piano, although I do now. I just recently bought electronic piano.
Okay.
But 15 years old, I started playing around with my sister's guitar and taught myself through piano books.
Oh, interesting. How did that work?
Well, you mean,
in the piano book, do they have the guitar chords on it?
They have the guitar chords.
Ah, okay.
And so I just looked at the little diagrams and just figured it out. And then after I figured out basic chords and I started playing with a couple of friends, and then they would show me things and I would show them things, and it just sort of started there. Then we would have jams.
Oh, nice.
It's like people started to catch on, and then we would like throw songs around and people would play together. That was really fun.
Yeah, that
way to start out.
And where was that?
Actually in Florida.
Oh.
Winter Garden, Florida.
Okay.
That's where I grew up.
Okay. And what kind of music were you playing? Was it like folky stuff?
It was in the 70s.
Yes, I remember them well.
So I started out, I was actually listening to like Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin and like more heavy music. And then I discovered Joni Mitchell, and James Taylor, and Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. And they're my guitar influences early on.
That's so crazy because you're what is it? What's that Roberta Flack song? You're like singing my life with your words. Those are my three. Growing up, listening to songwriters, going, "Whoa, this stuff is incredible." There's something so heartfelt, I think, about Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, and then Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Those harmonies.
I know. I loved all those harmonies. I've never been able to do that part. Guitar. I actually sang professionally for 15 years, and then I went instrumental, and I've started writing a lot of instrumental music. But I used to cover other people's music before I sort of discovered my own creative voice. I would do Joni Mitchell, Jackson Brown, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, a lot of Neil Young.
Oh, yes.
Just
Needle in the Damage Done.
I did that. I actually still I teach that.
I love
guitar students.
It's got that really cool dun 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 dun,
Yeah, it's got so much skill in it. If someone learns that in the first year, then it just takes them to another level.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I feel better. And I was doing that when I was 15. You're like my best friend I've never met.
Okay. It's funny.
We could have been in the same bunk at camp or something doing that. It was like I remember doing all those. So you started playing with friends and you were playing these kind of acoustic covers. And then what happens then?
Actually I was kind of pretty shy. I still feel pretty reserved around performing, but I did it for professionally for still doing it, still going out and performing. But I would go to some open stages. After a couple of years, I started to feel confident. And I would bring all these friends and my family, have a big family, and everybody would come and I felt really supported. And then I would do well, and then I would do another one. And it just kind of started there as far as performing. And then when I went, and then around Orlando, Central Florida, I actually played a couple art festivals and some different other events. And went to college, and I started playing in college classes for different things. And then started playing different cafes. And when I graduated from Florida State, I ended up moving to Boston and played around there. At that point, I wasn't songwriting. I mean, I had started songwriting at 15 immediately.
Oh, wow. Immediately. So you were playing and going, I could do this or I want to do this.
Yeah, I started putting chords together and started making up things. But I didn't really come into my songwriting voice until I moved to Colorado.
Okay.
And I started recording some albums. So.
And when was that? When did you come to Colorado?
In 1985.
Oh, okay. Very good time.
Been here for years.
Wow. So I want to go back for a second. You were doing things in college for classes. Were you entertaining people while they studied? What were you?
No, it'd be like a project, like maybe some sort of like something we're supposed to do, like to bring art into the project. I can't really honestly remember. I was in an art class, a drawing class. I remember playing while people were drawing models.
How fun.
I did that actually many times. That's one thing I can remember. Or I just remember my professor asked me if I would just play for like a humanities class for just, you do that? Okay, sure.
Wow. And at that point, were you doing instrumental songs or were you doing...
I was singing.
You were singing. And originals?
No, not in college. Actually, I probably played a Joni Mitchell song like Big Yellow Taxi or something.
That's awesome. I would love that if I was like drawing and somebody was playing live Joni Mitchell. That'd be so inspiring. Sounds like
it's such a fun song.
Oh, it's such a good song. And yeah, it's great. So jumping back, now we're in Colorado. It's 1985. Where are you performing? Because I know there's some awesome places in this area that were pretty nationally famous, right? At that point.
In the 80s, I was playing the Hotel Boulderado, sometimes weekly, for years, like Wednesday happy hour nights. That was really fun. I loved it. And then little places like Jose Muldoon's, which is now the Med.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's a Mexican. And let's see, that's just a lot. Anyway, then I started catching on to the ski areas, and I ended up playing Vail. There was an agent there that I worked with who kept me really busy playing different venues and events, like corporate events.
Nice.
So I did that for years. But then I got to a certain point, I was in Vail like all the time for 6 years. I was just there during the summer and the winter. And then I ended up realizing I really wanted to do something different. I wanted to do more songwriting and perform. Like I find myself sitting in front of these really noisy audiences and nobody was really listening. I was like, I want to do, I was like this, my life has to be better than this. I don't want to do this way.
Yeah.
So then I wrote an album, instrumental, actually, because instrumental music is more of a passion for me. And I think I play guitar better than I sing. I sing okay. I sang at Red Rocks once.
Okay, then you're okay.
Like, I'm not like a really shabby singer.
Okay, I was gonna say.
But instrumental music, it really is what I love to do.
Okay.
And so then I ended up just going down that road of I submitted my first instrumental CD to the Independent Music Awards.
Yes.
And I actually won Best New Age Song.
Nice.
And somebody actually told me, suggested that I do it. And I was like, okay, why not? And it was really fun to win that. And then I did it again. I submitted another song like 5 years later and I won again.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Can-
then I started feeling supported nationally as a guitarist because they were all instrumental.
Right. Can you play us an excerpt, either of one of those songs or something else that is of that era? That was when you were really finding your voice as an instrumental guitar songwriter.
Yeah, this song I wrote it and I didn't really record it till many years later. It's called the Orange Grove.
Okay.
I grew up in an orange grove in Florida.
Yay! Wow, bathrooms never sounded that good. So amazing, so beautiful.
Thank you.
And I have some questions.
Okay.
As a word person, I think of songs from a word person's point of view. And I'm listening to this song and I'm hearing choruses and verse. Like I'm hearing the structure. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And then the building of the percussive
Mhm.
elements. And then I'm thinking about orange groves and sunshine. How do you do that? How do you create?
You know, from the days, I actually did do a vocal album in 1994,
Uh-huh.
and I did songwriting, singing, and I was also playing some of those songs when I was playing in Vail and around Boulder.
Uh-huh.
And at Red Rocks, I actually played all original music and sang them. But the experience of writing lyrics and thinking of those parts, I just started putting the melody into the chord progression. Like I had the chord progression, but it didn't have all the melody stuff that you hear. And I started singing it, humming it, because I knew I didn't want to write lyrics, but I'd put the melody that I sang, which I would have done if I had written words to it.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of the same. It's different. It's just through just these musical, emotional stories
Uh-huh.
with chord progression and melody.
Fascinating. And are you having images in your mind? So you're humming a melody. Are you picturing something happening in the orange grove? Like where does that connect to what might have been the lyrics' job to convey?
You know, that's a great question. What happened was on a Christmas Eve, probably in 1990 or something. I don't really remember when that conversation happened, but my mother and my oldest sister were having a talk, just a nice fun talk after a Christmas party, and everybody had gone.
Mm-hmm.
And the three of us were sitting there, and I was just playing guitar and sort of listening to them, and they started talking about some of the history around this house that we lived in growing up at this orange grove.
Uh-huh.
And the energy felt really vibrant. And I started listening to them, and my hands just sort of picked up on the energy of their conversation, really is what it was.
Huh.
And then so that moment happened, and then later I finished a song and put it all together. So I just kind of zoomed back to some memories that I really enjoyed at this house and the things we would do with kids growing up
Uh-huh.
out in the country. So that's where that all came from.
That happiness and that sort of warmth, and wow, it's remarkable. It's I'm thinking about, and I'm not a painter, but I'm thinking about figurative painting versus abstract painting. And I don't know if there's a parallel to having a song that tells a story without words. I just go straight for the emotion because it seems that both things would get us to that emotional state. Is there a parallel there, do you think?
I think visual art and music are really similar because I just did a lot of art classes in college
Uh-huh.
and did a lot of drawing.
Uh-huh.
It feels the same to me in some ways, just that, trying to pick up the energy of the moment with like, I mean, even if I look at a painting, someone else's painting,
Uh-huh.
I can feel, I mean, I tend to be drawn more to emotional paintings.
Mhm.
Like I did my senior paper on German Expressionism,
Okay.
which is an intense time
Yeah.
with World War II and what happened to the painters was
Mhm.
basically what the story was about.
Mhm.
But it's just like when I was looking at their art, that art is like a psychological kind of thing happened to them, and you could see like early on where some of early expressionism is childlike and has a playfulness, like Paul Klee.
Yes, I love Paul Klee.
It's
Yeah.
just really light colors, and then it changed, and Kandinsky and all their colorful light ended up with a lot dark black,
Yeah.
bold lines in it and things
Yeah.
like that. So I just sort of relate to like what's going on with the emotional world of art. Like some art feels like certain music I listen to, like certain music I can tell it's really heady. Like there really isn't a heart involved.
Mhm.
And even art, I look at certain art, it's like I don't feel anything from it.
Mhm.
So I tend to write the music myself, and it has where I feel emotional connection to something.
Yeah, it really comes through. I mean, that was, not to mention, I got to sit, this is the most exciting thing for me, is to sit behind a guitar player, behind your guitar, and watch your hands from that perspective. That was just a rare treat.
Right, I don't think anyone's ever done this before.
I don't think, I was sort of like,
that
look!
close.
Yeah, I was like, and it was so exciting to watch, your finger work and then be surprised because I couldn't see your right hand. So when you started to do the percussive taps, I was like, wow! Oh, I didn't see it coming. Whereas if I was sitting on the opposite side of you, I would have seen your hand moving. So that was just, sorry guys, you can come in the shower. If you want to stand in the shower, you can see what's going on there.
We could probably put about 3 people in.
Maybe. Well, if you put people in the shower,
right. Behind the shower curtain,
right.
Beautiful shower
Yeah,
curtain.
isn't that amazing? It's kind of like the laugh-in of shower curtains.
I know, I love laughter.
It's fun. It's that sense of fun. Let's talk about fun and creativity. I would suspect that some people think that creating art is a serious thing. And we both acknowledged early on that we like silliness and happiness. What element does that play for you in the work that you create? Happy, silly, those flavors of emotion?
It's such a good question. I actually, because life has been really challenging for me and a lot of people, everybody.
Sure.
From the moment you're born, it can be hard. But what I do with music is I like to take music and actually write songs that take me into a place that feels better. And I did when I was writing music for the Young and Restless.
Mm-hmm.
My role with that show was to write actually more anxiety, sad songs,
right.
Which was fun. I actually enjoyed it. I wrote some really sad songs, but and that was great, and it worked with some of the scenes, but I like to just mostly put music out that's, kind of take you somewhere else. Because I need to do that. I'm writing a lot of new music right now. I'm working on another CD.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like it's all happy music, but it's like being transported.
Yes. And if you're going to be transported, who wants to go to a bad place?
Yeah, it's like, and I don't.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Like if you're going on vacation and someone's like, look, you have a choice. You can go to this beautiful, happy place or this anxiety-ridden, dark place. Where would you like to go?
With mean people.
With mean people. Oh, don't even
right.
start. Mean people. No, it's just, So interesting. I didn't think of it that way. I'd love for you to play something else, either something maybe from the new project if you want to talk about that, or something else that you'd like to share with our, hi guys, thanks for listening and watching, our friends out there.
I'll play you a song that actually the Young and Restless played a lot.
Okay.
I wrote songs and I also played songs from my previous CDs for different scenes.
Okay. Now I'm really curious. It was beautiful, by the way.
It's actually kind of a short version of it. It's longer, and on the recording there's cello and piano.
Ooh, beautiful. So, what was the assignment from the music supervisor in terms of tone? I imagine that they came to you and said, "We need something to fill in," or do they just have a library of sounds that they can pick from?
It's like a library of sounds, because like one song in particular that I wrote is just solo guitar, and they played it more than some of the other ones, but it was just really sad. Like this one scene, this guy got in a car accident, and his partner came to see him, and they were having a conversation about the accident, and he was tired. And
Oh,
the song is called Lost.
okay.
So it's just a sad song. And this one they would put, it's kind of, this isn't really sad, but it's called Mysteriously Drawn.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just kind of put, I don't know how to describe it. Well, how would you describe that?
Yeah, like ruminative. It's kind of like someone's walking, on the through the town or on the field, and there's the sky above, and they're sort of pondering their place in the universe, maybe kind of thing. But it also felt very comforting. It didn't feel to me like General Hospital was my soap opera choice as a young person. And there was always, the level of drama between the hospital and the ambulances and the love affairs and the mysteries and the scheming business people. It was always like da-da-da-da. Although I don't think soap operas do that kind of sound. But I couldn't imagine something as beautiful as that, finding a home.
Yeah, the Young and Restless, actually, they play some beautiful music on that show.
Huh.
And it's not usually like, I try to write like really kind of something horrible is getting ready to happen, because at that time some of the scenes kind of felt that way, like just some awful toxic thing between somebody and their friend, and it was hard for me to go there. I didn't really do it.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote some songs that have some anxiety, mostly sad.
Yeah.
That's easier for me to write.
Well, yearning is still, because I think sad is a more open emotion than, let's say, anxious. Because anxious is so like,
It's
very
based on fear.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so sad could be hopeful. Sad could be longing. Sad could be, it has more of a, if you're thinking about like bandwidth, or wavelengths, maybe the wavelengths are longer than the anxiety thing. I wanted to ask you something, and then I just kind of got lost in that idea of sad and all that other. Oh well, I'll come back to it. Tell us about the new project and what you're thinking about and writing about these days.
Well, I got this keyboard, and I'm playing around with different other sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And just for fun, I don't know if it'll end up on the CD, but it's actually an electronic song.
Oh wow!
It has a beat.
No.
But it's my style of guitar, like something like that. And there's this. It almost sounds like a song that you would be. It's really laid back, like it has that sort of electronic beat, but then created a bass line. It sounds like you're hanging out, like maybe in a club on the beach or something.
Not bad. I would like to be in that song, living in that song, or on that club.
Yeah, it was fun just to write. It was more like just a creative project. I actually did it like Christmas Eve, and sort of that through the holidays.
Is that an inspiring time for you, or a stressy time, or both?
It's a stressy time.
Yeah.
Back to the question about writing music. I have an itchy, runny nose.
I mean, hold on. We're in a bathroom. Let me get you a tissue.
Right.
Here. Oh, hold on. Some toilet tissue.
It's really funny.
It's like, here we go.
Like you.
It's perfect. Yeah, you just put it in the bathtub. It's amazing how this.
Okay.
See, you
Big
can't do
old
that,
trash can.
right? I mean, tiny desk concert. Take that. You can't do. Well, I guess maybe they have tissues on their desk.
Probably.
And a trash can, but not a bathtub and a roll, endless roll. We love NPR. It's okay. So stressy time, writing music.
I just wanted to get my mind off of the holiday time, even though I had some really fun moments. I tend to, I don't know, I just liked being creative, along with seeing friends.
Is it energizing to you to be creative as opposed to, let's say, I'm to be in a social situation? Or
I actually feel this different. Like, I feel highly energized by some of my friends.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, I have so much fun with some of my friends, and music is not like I'm celebrating. It's more like the inspiration of creativity is a very different kind of energy where I just feel so focused for hours. I can just like, go from one part of a song to another, and next thing I know, 10 hours later, the song's almost finished. So I just get really involved.
Do you, are you familiar with that whole concept of flow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I know I use that word. I've never really studied it, but I know it. I mean, I experience it.
There's I can't remember his name now. It's quite long. It begins with a C, but a psychologist who talks about when you're doing what you're meant to do, I guess would be one way of describing it, or your thing. There's a state of flow where time goes by and you don't really notice, and it's not exhausting. It's like you're saying 10 hours later, it's kind of like, oh, what's around the corner now? Let's go there. Whereas something that you might not enjoy, like doing taxes, might be an example, or things, right? Or something that you're not digging, that is not yours naturally, doesn't really have a state of flow. But when you're doing what is natural to you or joyful to you, there's flow.
I know, like I record at home, and I've recorded all my CDs at home, and but I mix them in other people's studios. Mm-hmm. But with this one, I've been playing around with mixing, and I've had a lot of technical issues. But if I'm in it, if I was recording a song I didn't really like, I might get really irritated by all the technical issues. But I didn't. I was just so determined to figure it out, and I did.
Cool. What are you mixing with? What?
Well, I use Logic, and I was actually mastered some of the songs actually on Audacity. Because Logic is hard for me. I can do some editing, but it's just really complicated.
Yeah.
So I'm actually looking for another mastering software.
Yeah.
But that's just for other I have many different music projects. For my album, though, I'll still have somebody else do that, mix it and master it, because those songs they end up on the radio or television, and I don't trust myself to do a really good mastering job, and I don't have the equipment for it.
Yeah.
And it's nice just to get an objective, ear.
Yes.
I don't even think I'll ever do that.
I think it is nice. Yeah, like you're saying, it's almost like having someone else in your band. It's
it's like a team.
Yes, you were picking up your pick. I'm not going to stop you.
Oh no, I was just moving.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to ask you to play something else anyway. So, since you picked up your pick. Haha, get it?
It's my pick. It's funny.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's that silly thing.
Since I had that cape on, I need to do some tuning.
And if you're just joining us, you are listening to Lynn Patrick here at the Tiny Bathroom Concert. We're in our tiny bathroom, as you can tell. As I get out of frame here, I'll get more in frame behind Lynn while she's playing, but when we're talking, it's kind of hard. We're going to post these on YouTube next month. Stay tuned on the Smile Songs YouTube channel, which is brand new, and more exciting stuff. We would ask you for questions, but we can't read the phone from here, so we can't really. But you could maybe post them on YouTube, and Lynn could answer them there. And Lynn uses a lot of open tunings, so a lot of beautiful tuning to get these ringing tones. How was that for my vamping?
That was great.
Thank you.
It's hard for me to talk in tunes sometimes. I can do it, but I'd rather focus on the tune.
It's good. It makes the tuning. No, my pleasure. As your alter ego here behind the neck of the guitar.
So I'm going to play this song called Namaste.
Oh, nice.
This one Christmas, my sister and I ended up getting into a debate around religion, which I don't like to talk about with family members who are really fundamentalist. But somehow that came up, and we ended up, as usual, knowing we shouldn't do that. And we ended up not talking for a month, and I wrote this song for her. It's called Namaste.
Cool. So it was Namaste, performed by Lynn Patrick here at the Tiny Bathroom Concert. Again, don't want to impose on the song, but can I tell you what I heard? And you can tell me, I don't know if there's a right and wrong, but in the beginning I heard sort of the more traditional Christmas sort of pattern of like, almost like an Irish, Scottish kind of thing, and then moving into the more open, acoustic new agey thing. And then a warmth at the end that was sort of like, let's bring these things together, let's make up. But that then might because you told me.
That's exactly what happened. Because I think arguing or debating religion doesn't make sense to me. I don't relate to it. Because the words and what people say just gets all mixed up and people start projecting all this stuff. So I just, love is more important to me than being right.
Ooh, man, if you ever write a song with lyrics again, good title.
That's more important
to me than being right. Right. Country. Has she heard the song?
Oh yes, it's actually on one of my early CDs called When She Dreams. And so it has. Again, that was a shorter version. Mm-hmm. It has piano, bass, another guitar part. Cello. I already said that.
Yeah. And if people want to find your music, where can they find it?
So see, you can listen to it on Pandora, Spotify, nice. Apple iTunes, Apple Music. It's all up on YouTube.
And is it Lynn Patrick Guitar or Lynn Patrick or?
Just my name, Lynn Patrick.
Okay.
If you just put in Lynn Patrick Music, a lot of stuff will come up with places to buy it. cdbaby.com is where I tend to sell the most.
Okay.
Digital downloads and actual CDs. I sell those too.
Nice. I was curious just about the new age music genre because I'm not that familiar with it, and I wondered if you could explain sort of what it is and what it might not be, or is it anything, everything?
It's so funny. I don't even think I've been into it at all.
Okay.
But I mean, there's different kinds.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, like when I put my music on CD Baby, like a new CD, you have to put in what the genre is, and there's like all these different types of new age. Like there's electronic new age, there's contemporary classical new age.
Okay.
There's like pop new. It's like I don't know. I think I'm more like I don't know what I am. I think it's more like folk. Because I can also get into a little bit of some bluegrass, a little bit, with fiddle.
Yeah. Now, when did you start playing the fiddle?
Oh, I don't play the fiddle. I always have other people play.
Because I saw on your website it mentioned a fiddle. I was like, wow, she does all this, and she's a fiddle player. Okay.
Not me. I would love it if I played the fiddle.
I have one in the other room. I can bring it in. You can try.
Well, that's great. You do that.
Well, I was trained as a classical violin player as a kid, and I was playing in a community orchestra in Brooklyn, and one day I went, there's got to be something else I can do with this instrument. I was sitting in the back, hiding in the back, because I felt that way if I made a mistake, nobody would hear. And people in front of me were saying, this isn't the way we played the symphony in 1972. And I thought, if that's the measure of the music we're making, that it has to stay exactly the same, maybe there's something I can do that's a little bit more open. So I'm sort of a noodler. My boyfriend, who's an excellent bluegrass fiddle player, is quite awesome at what he does, and
Nice, that's great.
Yeah, I just kind of play around, but I love that whole genre. I think it's really beautiful and fun. And
It is so much fun.
yeah, well, let's see. Are there any questions that I haven't asked you that you want to share with folks about you or music or Colorado or what you're up to or life in the mountains? Any of those amazing topics?
Not really.
Okay, I was like, no,
I'm good.
done. I've been in your bathroom now for like forever.
I've been here for a while.
Well, I want to thank you for coming up and sharing this incredibly beautiful music with us and the story of how you got to be the person who you are and how you make all this beautiful music.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
It's been fun.
See?
Being out here.
Fun in the bathroom. It's
Exactly.
like, well, come back soon, and maybe when the new album is out or before.
Okay, I will, and I'll come play some songs.
Yeah, I would love that. Everybody, the amazing Lynn Patrick. I'm Sharon Glassman. This is the Tiny Bathroom Concert, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.